Mm. Are you there, Jinan? How are you today?
I'm well. I'm
Hi.
feeling well.
Hi, how are you? Sorry. What's your name again? Can I call you Jinan?
Yes, Jinan.
Okay, so we haven't met before, right?
Pardon?
We haven't met before, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, my name is Mr. Reza. Nice to meet you. So, what front runner are you?
Sorry, Mister.
What front runner are? What level?
Oh, I am from PR4.
Ah, nice. Okay, so thank you for joining me today, for joining us today in our news anchor live club. So, do you have any idea what a news anchor is?
No.
All right. So yeah, we're gonna have some activities today. Hopefully, more students will join. But initially, we're just going to learn something today regarding news anchors. So yeah, let me share my screen.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, she's not here anymore. Okay. So basically, we're going to find out what a news anchor is and what they do and how to read a teleprompter really well. So I'm not an expert, but I would try. Oh, let me. Okay. Oh, there you are. Okay. All right. So we're going to learn a thing or two about news anchor today. Yeah? So as I have previously mentioned, we're going to learn all types of news anchors, news reporters, and then we're gonna also learn to read through a teleprompter. And also we're going to have a little role play. So yeah, let's start. Okay, so let's start with what's a news anchor. So if there are actually other terms other than news anchor, some people say news presenter, newscaster, but they all mean the same thing basically. Yeah, but we're going to focus on news anchor on live television. So there are other types of news anchors as well in other media, such as the radio, podcast, and so on and so forth. So there's more than just a TV news. Yeah. So basically, in simple words, a news anchor is a person who presents and coordinates in a live television or radio news broadcast. Yes. So that's the basically what it means by a news anchor. So it's that person who's sitting in front of a camera telling you the news from all over the world. Yeah, basically. So when they are reading the news, they actually read through a thing called a teleprompter. So have you seen one of these, Jinan, anywhere?
And TikTok maybe.
Right. So there's yeah, this is actually what inspired me. It's there because I've seen a lot of teleprompter challenges on TikTok, and I think it's pretty interesting because a lot of people are actually pretty good at reading the news. Yeah. So teleprompter is basically a device used to project a speaker's script onto a transparent panel in front of a television camera lens in such a way that the text remains hidden from the camera. So when the newscaster is or the news anchor is looking at the camera, is actually reading something that is reflected by the teleprompter. Yeah, so it's pretty good technology. So now there are a lot of what is it phrases that are very common that are said um, in the news. Yeah. So now I want you to have a good look at this purpose and phrases So the purpose, there's opening the newscast. Which one do you think is the phrase if you want to open the newscast?
The good evening.
Right, you're right. So there, let me annotate by myself. So yeah, I think that's the one. The newscast. Yeah, good evening, and here's tonight's important news. What about announcing the headline?
Um, Announcing the headlines. Wait.
Mhm. So this is basically when the news anchor introduces what the headline is going to be on the news. So
Uh,
you think,
the high stick maybe. Oh no
okay,
no.
I think could
Wait.
this be the one? Tonight's stories include, don't you think?
Oh yeah.
Right, so I think that's the one
Yeah.
too. So when you want to announce the headline, you can start off by saying that tonight's stories include. Okay, so that's the one. Good job. And what about introducing the weather? Which one do you
Uh,
think is used?
mm, Maybe the wait. Yeah,
So it's
the excuse me maybe or
excuse me. Oh, okay. So I think well, because when we want to introduce the weather, we don't always necessarily say what the weather is like. It could also be the conditions. So I think it could be this one. It's pretty wet out there, isn't it? So it might mean that it has been raining, right? So I think that's the one. Now, what about cutting to a commercial? Which one do you think can be used when the news anchor wants to cut to commercials? When it's about to, when they're about to have a commercial, they usually say, stay tuned. Yeah, usually stay tuned, we'll be right back. So that means they're going to have a commercial break. Yeah. So I think that's the one. Oops. Okay. What about transitioning to a new story? So when the news anchor already introduced a piece of news and they want to jump to another news, which one do you think can be used?
the let's turn to a story about.
Okay, yes, that's right. Let's turn to a story about something else. Yeah, obviously. All right. What about introducing live coverage? So live coverage is basically when the news anchor wants to switch to the reporter that is in a certain area that's about to go live. So that's basically what a live coverage means. So which one do you think can be used when you want to introduce a live coverage?
Um, um, Live coverage is about what? Sir, sorry.
Live coverage is when another reporter will report from the area that is going to be where the news is. Oh, there's another one.
The high Steve.
Okay, yeah. Hi, Steve. We're on the ground here in downtown. That's right. Very good. Hi, Nakesha.
Yes, hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine.
Nice to meet you with Mr. Reza here. We were just talking about some phrases that are used in TV news, yeah, in the news. So, are you familiar with news anchor, first of all?
Yes, of course.
Right, okay, that's a good start. All right, so now we have one, two, three, four of purposes and four phrases left. We've covered like most of it, but can you have a quick look at the phrases and which one do you think can be used to introduce sports segments? Because when which one do you think? Okay. So when you want to introduce a sports segment, you can say, how about that game last night? So supposedly there's a game the other night. So when you want to start off your sports segment, you can use that phrase. How about that game last night? Now, how about interrupting for breaking news? So when the news anchor is reporting a certain type of news, and then there's a breaking news that just came in, usually it's very unplanned, right? So you can say, excuse me, we have a developing situation, blah, blah, blah. So you can say, excuse me first as an opening, and then you can say what the breaking news is about. And then another purpose is using pleasant small talk to finish. So when you want to finish, you can simply say, thank you for tuning in. We'll be back at 11 with important updates. Oh, sorry, not that one. Let's get out with it. Let's get out there and enjoy some of the good weather. Sorry, that's the one. And then when you sign off, last but not least, you can say thank you for tuning in. We'll be back at 11 with important updates. So basically, those are some of the phrases that can be used when you're a news anchor. So yeah, that's pretty simple, isn't it? Okay, so now let's just have a look at some news reading tips. Yeah, it can be really tricky when you read a teleprompter because we're not used to reading text at certain pace. So there are some helpful tips that we can keep in mind when we're reading a teleprompter. Okay, so Jinan is coming back here again. Okay, so all right. So one of the first few tips that I have come across is that when you want to read the news, you have to have a neutral accent. So what that means is that you cannot have a very thick accent because if you listen or if you watch some news, usually the news anchors, they have very neutral accents. So we almost cannot tell where they come from, right? So they have very neutral accents and you have to speak really slowly and you have to enunciate carefully until no one can tell where you're from. And it takes practice, a lot of practice, and yeah, a lot of getting used to, I guess. Okay, so the second tip is you need to have storytelling ability. So basically, you have to know each sentence's point, and you have to stress the words that best communicate the action to help your viewers understand the information easily. Because tones and word stresses, they're very important when we're telling the news or even when we're telling a story, right? So we need to watch our tone. We need to know when to stress the words, and we have to know what's the point of each sentences. So that's the second tip. And the third one is that when you are reading the news is you have to speak with conviction. So you have to be very confident. You have to act as if you know what you're talking about, even if you don't. So you have to be very confident. Yeah. And the last tip is you have to maintain good posture and you have to maintain eye contact as well. If you look at news anchors, you've never seen any of them like slouch or like um, do some weird sitting or standing position, right? So you need to maintain good posture so that people will take you seriously. Okay, so far, Janet, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay, so let's have a role play. So basically here, um, I have prepared some situations. It's a very simple one, and it's very short as well. So let's just do it together. So there's supposed to be three people, but it's okay. We can just do like uh, two of them. Yeah, so I think that could work. So right. So let's just pretend that there's this situation happening in a certain city, in our city. So would you like to be the anchor, Jinan?
Yeah.
All right. So you'll be the anchor. So what you have to do is you just have to read this. So you're going to be asking me about what happened. Yeah. So the witness, we can just scrape it off because we don't have enough people here. So you'll be the news anchor and I will be the reporter. Do you want me to go back to the phrases that you can use?
Yes.
Okay, so let me go back. Okay, so here's the phrases that you can use when you want to open the news. You can say good evening, good morning, depending on what time it is. And then you can just cut to the point what the news is about. And then the other important part is the closing, the ending. So you can say this word. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back at 11 with more important updates. So something along those lines. Yes. So you can pick any other phrases, but this is just to help you kind of remember. Okay. Oh, so there's another one. Wait, someone is joining. Let's wait for a bit. Also, when you want, oh yeah, because in the scenario, I will be the reporter, so that means that I will be doing live coverage. Yeah, so I will be not in the studio with you, but I will be somewhere where the situation is happening. So you can use some of these phrases. Now this one. Oh, I will be using this. Sorry. Hi, Steve. We're on the ground here downtown. Yeah, okay. Maura is not joining yet, but that's okay. Okay, so you ready, Jinan?
Yeah.
All right. So okay, go ahead. Okay, you can start from here and just work your way down. You can just make up any kind of situation. It's I know it's not doesn't have to be real. Just make up any situation when there's no rain somewhere. What do you think could happen? What's been damaged, and what are people doing to help? So you have to kind of make it up as you go. But that's okay. We're all learning. Go ahead. Oh, she just left. Okay, so while we're waiting for Maura to join, I'm going to show you an example of what it's like to be a news presenter or a news anchor. Yeah, so I'm going to play a video. Okay, let me share my screen again. Oops. Excuse me. Okay, here it is. Okay, so this video will show you what it's like to be sitting behind a camera reading a teleprompter. So let's have a look. Oops, I haven't shared sound. Okay, here it is.
Hello there, this is your chance to try your hand at being a presenter for ITV News here in the Channel Islands. It'll give you an idea what it's like to be here in the studio each night. So first, I'll read the introduction to our top story, and then it's your turn to have a go. On one side of the screen, you'll see me, and on the other side, there's the auto cue, which is scrolling the words so you don't have to remember them. Watch it first, then we'll start again for you to try.
15, stand by to roll. Roll. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. On air. 10 on the titles. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cue presenters.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to ITV News. Our main headline tonight, the school day in Jersey will be extended from next term. Politicians have decided to add an extra hour of lessons Monday to Friday to make up for time lost because of coronavirus. Classes will also be held on Saturday mornings. Teachers are welcoming the decision, but some students have told us they will boycott the extra lessons and are considering staying away from school altogether. Claire Burton has our top story.
These students will soon be spending longer in class after the government announced its...
So that's what it looks like with me reading the story. Now it's your turn. Read the script as the auto cue scrolls up the screen.
15, stand by to roll.
Okay, so basically that's what it looks like when you're in a newsroom. So you will read off of the the teleprompter, and yeah, you just present the news. Okay, so let me just go back here and see if anyone is here. Okay, so unfortunately there's no more students, but we were supposed to do the role play, but since there's no one here, I'm just going to wrap it up. So I think that is it for the live club today. Hopefully we can do this again with more students. But thank you so much for joining us, those at home. So yeah,